This is yet another Florida story, and Florida is just producing us the wildest, craziest stories that you will ever want to hear about what's going on with our babies. So before I give you guys the details, some of you guys might have actually heard this story about a man who dropped a baby in Walmart or a Walmart parking lot. I'm not sure which one it was. Not once, not twice, not three times, at least four times. How many of y'all have heard this story? Let me give you guys a disclaimer before we start, though. Some viewers may find the following content offensive and controversial. The information in this video comes from multiple sources, including court records, official police charges, news web articles, and interviews. This video commentary also contains my personal opinions about the facts of this story. The point is to use this story as a cautionary tale in hopes of preventing tragedies like these to children going forward. Viewer discretion is advised. That is your official disclaimer. Boy, Florida, y'all are taking yet another L. A man in Florida is accused of repeatedly dropping a 4-month-old baby intentionally onto the ground at a Northwest Miami-Dade Walmart. And I'm getting this article from ibtimes.com, so thank you for the article. That idiot's name is Patrick Abbott, 31 years old, and was arrested after an off-duty officer at the store witnessed him dropping the infant. Dropping. Here's the part that even further confuses me. Dropping a baby is already unfathomable. That's already unthinkable as it is. What's even more wild about that? He's homeless. Let me say that again. A homeless man had a child with him that he had access to drop not once, not twice, not three times, but 4 times where people could see him. It's not like he's Casper the Ghost. It ain't like nobody can't see his ass. And they recorded him as being homeless. I think I actually have that paperwork. Let me see if I have that. Pretty. You know what? I'm getting too good at this. I think I have the paperwork. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, I do. I'm learning to be thorough here. Let me show you guys something. For those who want to expand your screen, turn your resolution up to 720p, you can look in this top right corner where it says permanent address in Miami, Florida. Another Miami story. What does it say his permanent address is? Homeless. Just Jay, why does that matter? The reason it matters is how does he end up with the child? Who gave him the child? Did he steal the child? How did he get access to this child? Who gave a homeless man a baby? I'm thoroughly confused with that. Anyway, witnesses said that Patrick Abbott dropped the baby girl on the ground at least 4 times around 4 p.m. Monday. It reportedly happened at the store's parking lot. They quote, "We heard a commotion, heard the screaming of a lady saying, 'Help me, help me,' and the baby traumatically crying," a witness identified as Adrian Ferguson told 7 News. There was a guy clenching the baby tightly, and I asked, "Are you the mother?" And she said, "Just help me, just help me." She was an innocent bystander just going by and said, "He dropped the baby. He's trying to stomp on the baby." Ferguson was at the store with her nephew, who said that, why they put his name in there like that? Ferguson was at the store with her nephew, who said people rushed to help when they witnessed the man abusing the baby. He dropped the baby 4 more times. And man, ooh-wee. Couldn't have been me. I don't even know how he had time to drop a baby 4 times. I'm a err on the side that maybe people didn't realize what was going on. But by the time they figured it out, maybe it had already been done. So I don't know. He dropped the baby 4 times and everybody ran after him, but he kept dropping the baby. They called for an ambulance because the baby had a big red spot on the back of her head, Washington said. I was trying to get the baby, but there was chaos. There was no explanation that you can give to say that you dropped a baby 4 times. An off-duty Miami-Dade police officer who was working as a security guard at the store also witnessed the man dropping the child onto the ground. The defendant walked away from the victim only to return to the victim and picked her up as bystanders began to scream and run towards the victim. Abbott claimed he dropped the infant once by accident. I'm sure that Walmart has security cameras. I'm sure that'll be easy to prove. The guy had the baby and he threw the baby on the ground. They have him in the back of the police car. Something's not right, but we're going to pray for him. Ferguson was heard saying in a video shared with CBS 4. The man was taken into custody and charged with child abuse with no great bodily harm, and he's being held in jail, or was being held in jail, on a $5,000 bond. What do you mean a $5,000 bond? What do you mean was in jail? Somehow, a homeless man made bail. He got out of jail, and the media filmed him getting out of jail, so he's out of jail for sure. And with eyewitness accounts of what he did to this baby, somehow they were only able to get it up to $5,000 in bond. I'm going to present this dynamic again to prove my point that I don't believe that society cares as much about children as they should. So I'm going to look in the camera as I give this scenario yet again. I want you guys to imagine this same man getting into an argument with his wife in front of people and everybody can see, including a police officer. Let's just say that this man took his hand and cocked it back as far as it can cock back and slapped this woman and slapped the dentures out of her mouth. Do y'all think that if they had eyewitness accounts of this and the police officer, off-duty police officer, while he's on duty for Walmart, seeing this, do y'all think that he'd be in jail on a $5,000 bond, or might he be in jail on a bond that's a hell of a lot higher than that? If he took a grown woman who could speak for herself and defend herself and slapped the dog shit out of her, he'd probably be in there. I'd say he'd probably be in there, what, on like a $50,000 bond? Probably. Probably. For a domestic incident that everybody saw? Yeah, probably. But you take a little innocent baby, God even knows where he got this baby from. Even if you accidentally dropped this child, they got it on tape. You got eyewitnesses that said it was at least 4 times. That matters. How do you not have at least a $500,000 bail for attempted murder? Maybe no bond. How are you homeless and get a child? I don't understand that. I would love to hear how that happened. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. And guys, let me tell you this before we get into the news videos. If y'all would do me a favor and click that thumbs up. You remember how I talked about how me and illicit deeds, when we're putting these stories together, And we're always faced with the news media and police omitting certain information. This is another situation where you'd have to ask, why the hell would they even put this story out? Why? Why talk about it if you're not going to talk about how he got access to the child to begin with? You know why they didn't? Because that means that a mother or a custodial parent, I'm assuming it was a woman, very assuming, but I'm going to assume that the mother gave him access to this child, this alleged homeless man. And I'm not saying that she should be in trouble, but that's a big tie to this story, because putting this story out on its surface doesn't make any sense when you say a homeless man had a random baby and was throwing it on the ground, trying to kill it and stomp it. Miami-Dade County, y'all got some splaining to do.
Now, a man seen repeatedly dropping a baby in a Walmart parking lot is out of jail, but still facing questions about his actions. He claims it was an accident, but witnesses insist it was deliberate. Local 10's Bridget Matter live now at the hospital where that baby is spending her second night. Bridget.
And Calvin, that 4-month-old baby is being treated here for head injuries. Police arrested a man. He's now facing charges of child abuse. Witnesses say they saw him drop this baby multiple times.
31-year-old Patrick Abbott is accused of abusing a 4-month-old baby girl in a Miami Walmart parking lot off Northwest 79th Street. This is video of Miami-Dade police making a quick arrest outside of the store. Abbott bonded out of jail the next day.
Did you intentionally drop that baby?
Local 10 tried talking to the 31.
Here's another thing you would have to ask. If he's homeless, how did he get bond? $5,000 would equivocate to at least $500 if you paid 10%. If he's homeless, how did he have any money at all? Who bonded him out? Was it the custodial parent of this child that bonded him out? I'm sure he didn't bond himself out.
Making a quick arrest outside of the store. Abbott bonded out of jail the next day.
Did you intentionally drop that baby?
Local 10 tried talking to the 31-year-old who had nothing to say.
Patrick, do you want to tell us about what happened last night?
We did talk to Andrian Ferguson. She says she saw Abbott drop the baby girl multiple times.
I've experienced a lot of things in my life. That was the worst thing.
Andrian says the baby was dropped 4 times. She took this cell phone video once police arrived.
This guy had a baby, took the baby out of his hands, throwing the baby down on the ground. He said the baby's head was swollen, a little red area.
Andrian says she and others tried to help the situation. Witnesses believe Abbott is a relative of the child who was in his care while the child's mother was shopping.
There you go. He's a relative of the child. Is he the father of the child? They said a relative. I don't know, man.
He dropped the baby 4 times then.
So what did he try to kill the baby for then? Oh my goodness. Nothing about this makes any sense.
He dropped the baby 4 times then. The first time he tried to stop the baby, but everybody was running after him. So he tried to pick up the baby, then keeps dropping the baby.
Alarming case of abuse. A witness describing a heart-wrenching scene at a Walmart store where he says a 4-month-old baby girl is dropped on the ground at least 4 times. Let's get right up to CBS 4's Peter Dench now with the disturbing details, Peter.
Well, Elliot, a spokeswoman for Jackson Memorial Hospital tells us that the good news is that this baby girl is in good condition. Doctors here are observing her. 2 witnesses say they will not forget what they saw. They say the child was rushed to the hospital after there was swelling on the back of her head.
And this guy had a baby, took the baby out of his hands, throwing the baby down on the ground.
Andrian Ferguson uses her cell phone to capture these images from outside this Walmart store in Northwest Miami-Dade after she says a 4-month-old baby girl was repeatedly dropped on the ground.
This is a traumatic thing. Baby dropping on the road several times. Beautiful baby. You want to see the baby? It was a beautiful.
Ferguson was at the store at Northwest 32nd Avenue and 79th Street with her nephew, Joshua Washington.
I was trying to get to that baby so fast. It was chaos. Everybody was trying to figure out what was going on.
31-year-old Patrick Abbott is now charged with child abuse after the girl was injured.
He dropped the baby 4 times. Then the first time he tried to stop the baby, but everybody was running after him. So he tried to pick up the baby, then keeps dropping the baby.
An arrest affidavit says the defendant walked away from the victim, only to then return to the victim and pick her up as bystanders began to scream. They reported that to an off-duty Miami-Dade police officer who was working a detail, and the officer saw Abbott drop the baby again. He was arrested.
They called for ambulance because the baby did have a big red spot on the back of its head.
The arrest affidavit says the defendant advised that he only dropped the victim by accident once. Not so, says Washington.
There's no explanation that you can give to say, oh, I dropped this baby on accident 4 times.
So they have him in the back of the car. Guys, something ain't right. But we gonna pray for him.
I think the rest of these are basically just going to repeat a lot of the same information. So we'll skip those last couple of news videos, and I'll just say this. A relative of the child's mom, like, how did he have access to this child? Like, why did she leave this child with him? Just, I don't mean to be disrespectful to transient people, homeless people, but I will say this. I think the last person that I'm going to give my child to is a person that can't put a fucking roof over their head. Is that wrong of me to say that? The comment section is open. Please tell me if I'm wrong about what I said. I'll say it again. I might put my child in daycare. I might leave my child with my mom or my dad, maybe even my sister. But if I have a homeless relative that can't keep a roof over their head and has proven to be irresponsible in their own personal life, I'm sorry, but I don't give a damn how much Christmas shopping, Thanksgiving shopping, New Year's shopping, Valentine's Day shopping, birthday shopping. Ain't no shopping that you need to do that you can't have your own kid with you. I know plenty of people that do their shopping and have their newborn babies with them, have their toddlers with them, and they shop just fine. That's what those carts are for. That's what baby carriers and you put them in the carts are for. I've done it. I could pull up pictures on my phone right now of when I used to take my daughter, and shout out to my baby, and I love her so much. Used to take her with me shopping all the time. As a little baby, as a toddler, as an older child. Guess what I didn't have to do? Leave my baby with a homeless bum. That makes no sense. And what further doesn't make any sense, who bailed him out? I'm sure he didn't bail his damn self out. And whoever bailed him out, if you're watching this video, you're stupid. And you should have left him in jail for however long. But even more so, it's not the fact that he was able to bail out, because that's what bail is for. Bail is to guarantee that you're going to show up to court, and they set the number at the whatever they feel is appropriate based on your charges, based on your level of danger to society. They got that wrong. Him bailing out is not wrong. The number that he bailed out on is wrong. $5,000. Maybe multiply that by 5,000. Then maybe that make a little more sense. But keep that baby in your prayers, and let's just hope that that baby makes a full recovery. But I'm firmly gonna put this on the biological mother, or the mother, whoever was the caretaker. They said the mother. So yeah. So we'll maybe follow up with this and see if he gets any jail time. But it sounds like they're not going to really take this seriously. But keep that baby in your prayers and pray that that baby is in the hands of somebody who can properly take care of her, okay? But Thank you so much. Leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think. Thank you.